Hi, I'm Karen Stamp, and I'm an academic advisor for the College of Arts and Sciences. And this video is to help criminology majors register for the next semester. So, a couple things I'm going to start with. First one, rather simple. And let's see. Okay, so the first one is just the main website for University of Laverne. Really important that you are comfortable using it and use it a lot. The search engine is fantastic. If you, for example, as a crim major, one of the things you have to do is complete foreign language. And so before you can take a foreign language class, the first thing that you need to do is to take a placement test. So you can put in the search bar placement test, and it'll bring you right up to that area so that you're able to, there we go, able to see, how you go about that. What do you do? There's placement testing information, and you can go through this and be able to very easily figure out what it is that you need to do. And during COVID, they're still doing the placement testing, but they're doing it obviously remotely. So another area that you might want to look at, and I highly recommend, would be for academic advising, and it would be the workshops. So hopefully this video will give you everything you need to know. But after you figure out your classes and your schedule and things, if you have any questions, then know that there's also a couple more workshops that you can join in on to be able to ask questions. Before we get to that, see where it says 16 to finish? I want to explain that. A lot of freshmen will say, how many classes do I have to take each semester in order to graduate on time? But it's not the amount of classes, it's the amount of credits for those classes. So what you'd want to do is to know that if if you take four classes at 4 credits each, that's 16, obviously. So if you take classes at 4 credits each, that's 12, and then you might take two classes at 2 credit each in order to get to the 16. So then you'd have more classes, but you'd still have the same amount of credits. Credit hours, semester hours, or units, all the same thing. So that's what you want to be cognizant of. Another thing is that 12 credit hours is full time, but it'll take you longer to get to your graduation. And 18 credits is possible, but not something that I'd want to see a freshman do right out of the gates. That's tough because it can even throw seasoned students off to have that extra 2 semester hours. So just so that you understand that a little bit. Now, scrolling down, um, right here, let's see, this bottom workshop is learn how to register with step-by-step workshop tutorial. And so here's the thing, you may or may not need that after you look through all the videos. And honestly, I really hope that you don't, so that you can just get to making your schedule and stuff. But if you have a couple questions or what have you, you could always jump on this for a little bit. And then, if it helps you, great. And if it doesn't, then and you don't need it, then you can jump back out. But I would register for it so that it's there and ready for you if you do need it. Another thing is on the day of freshman registration, November 12th, between 8 and 11 and 12 and 3, I'll have an open Zoom so that if you need to jump in, you can. And again, you need to register for that so that I know that you want to do that. And so anyway, some helpful things for you, tools. I look at everything I'm talking about today as tools. The next thing that I want to show you is the Laverne portal, which you absolutely should know how to get to already, but I want to show you this route too, which is My Laverne, and then you go to the intranet. There's also a way to just do Laverne portal and get there. However you get there doesn't matter as long as you get there. So what I want to do is take a look at some things on Laverne portal. And the first thing is your degree audit. So underneath the first section of quick links, we're going to go down to where it says degree audit and click. And then for degree audit, yours is called My Degree Tracker, MDT. So we're going to click on that. And if I clicked on that, then a degree audit would pop up. But because I'm doing this with a group, what I'm going to do is use a PDF version of the degree audit. And in the PDF version, just like in yours, you'll have your major, your campus. Your campus is absolutely paramount to remember because when you go to look up classes to add, you need to weed out the classes that are not for the main campus students, just like they would have to weed out classes for their campus. Very important you do that, or else you'll get error codes. Next thing is obviously your name and your student ID. You want to make sure that, when you email me, you include that both your name and your ID so that I can help you, at least the last 4 digits of your ID at minimum. Now, moving forward, another thing. So right here, it shows how many credit hours, semester hours, or units are applied towards your degree audit. When they figure out when it's calculated through the registrar's office, who registers when, it's not on applied, it's on completed. So as you go up in years, you're going to see that there's a discrepancy between how many credit hours it shows in your degree audit, because it includes applied, and your registration day, which is strictly completed. So if you keep that in mind, it won't frustrate you. Next, this shows 17 semester hours applied for the 128 that you need to graduate. Really important to know that you need 128 to graduate. 44 of those semester hours will be in upper division coursework. So that's 300 and 400 level. And that's just important for you to understand. The other thing is that if you were to add up all the classes on your degree audit and then separate out anything that you got counted for more than one area, called the double dip, which I'll explain more in a few minutes, it would come out around 100 credit hours, semester hours, or units, which means you'd have like 20 to 28 semester hours to use another way. One way would be if you want a minor. If you want a minor, that's easy to do. Not easy to complete, but easy to add. And if you decided you didn't want the minor, you could then fill out a form and take it back off. So that's pretty easy to do. And if that's what you want, then absolutely add it. But what if it isn't? Then you still have like 20 semester hours to do what with, right? So if, for example, you're trying to go to another university for your higher level or this one, and you need some classes that are very specific prereqs, then maybe you'll want to take those. Or if that's not the case, then what you'll do is you'll just take classes that you're interested in. And that time will come, but not yet. Right now, we want to focus on what you have to do. The reason I brought it up, the reason I mentioned it, is because if you thought the only thing you need to do is what you see on your degree audit, then you wouldn't be real happy when you find out, oh, wait, I have 20 more semester hours to take someplace. So I like to be upfront and let you know that right away. So I'm going to drop down here to the Laverne experience. And in the Laverne experience, this is really your sophomore, junior, and senior year. Some people may have taken a flex class to fulfill one of these areas, and that's great. Everybody had this basically the same amount of semester hours this semester. So if not in one area, it's in another. So we're going to pass that by. Then we're in the gen ed. So in the general education area, this is where you're going to spend the most of your time this spring 2021, because you want to get these completed. They help build your background so that when you're in your higher level major classes, you're more prepared for them. But they also are classes like, for example, life science, that's biology. So let's say you're just, a criminology major, you're not trying to get any science degree, you're going to take Bio 101. If you don't feel like taking it now, then by the time you're a senior, you're probably going to want to take it less. So we want to take care of that right out of the gate, so to speak. So a class you absolutely 100% need to take is RCS 111. Another class that you really want to take if you didn't get it this term would be Introduction to Sociology, Soc 250. You don't have to have Soc 250 next semester, but since you're in criminology and criminology is part of sociology, then sooner you take it, the better. So absolute RCS 111. Then the next class, oral communication. It's a 2-credit class. It's RCS 100. You can find that out by clicking on LVOC. The box will pop up. You can look through it, take a class that has that attribute, LVOC. And you don't have to have that next semester. You just have to have it by the time you graduate. Same with all the other ones down here, with the exception of quantitative reasoning. Quantitative reasoning is math. You may have had a math this semester, Math 102. You may not have. If you didn't have it, it's because your SATs and or your transcripts put you above it. If you were told that you need a Math 102, then that was something that you were supposed to take this semester. So then you're clear on math for a while until your junior year. You will not take Soc 305 statistics until your junior year. And so down here, quantitative analysis, Soc 305, write it down for yourself. You don't need that until your junior year. So you're just going to put math on hold for a little bit. And then everything else under here, lifelong wellness, humanities, social science. This person happens to have social sciences done. And you see that Soc 250 that you need as a prereq will also count here, which is cool. But you still need 2 classes. So it would mean you'd need 1 more. life science, physical science, and creative expression. Those are all classes that you really want to work diligently to try to accomplish, 16 semester hours worth this next semester. So, moving forward, the foreign language placement is required in order for you to take a foreign language requirement. Perhaps you already have credit, maybe you have an AP class or you took it at another university or something. Then that's great. Then that's one area you don't have to worry about. But if that's not the case, and it isn't for the majority of students, then you need to take the placement test. I showed you how to reach that, so you want to use that. Look through it and get familiar, man. That's your website. This University of Laverne is your university, and that's your website. So you want to get really good at it. And the other thing is, though, is for foreign language, you need to take the placement test in order to register for a class. You may or may not do that or take that this semester, but you need to have it on your radar because it might not just be one class. This shows one class, LVFL, but when you take the placement test, three things could happen. One is you could test so well you're above it. Awesome. Two, you could test right into it and then it's one and done. Or three, you may have gotten really rusty and you're below it, and then you need to take the lower level foreign language and then the next level foreign language to hit this LVFL. So it could be one class, it could be two classes, it could be no classes, but that placement test will let you know. Moving forward, I already talked about the prereqs. If you can get into intro to social semester, that'd be fantastic. Quantitative analysis, however, no, you wait until your junior year. Then your major in Crim. The reason I told you that is really important to get RCS 111 this semester as an absolute necessity is because down here in the breadth requirements, all of these require RCS 111 completed before you can take these classes, with the exception, there's always an exception, of white collar crime. You can take that this coming semester if you haven't taken it already, because some people had it as flex. And in area two, sociological, some of these classes require RCS 111, some require more than that, and some don't require anything. You can just take it before you have RCS 111 done. So the way you'd find that out is on your live degree audit. You'll click on these, the box will pop up, and you'll be able to read the catalog information. Do you need to have that as a prereq or not? And it'll show you. So those are that's the information about your major, your prereqs, your foreign language, and where you really need to be spending your time right now in your gen eds. And of course, also Soc 250 if you haven't had it yet. So you're going to be looking through and trying to figure out, what do you take? So that leads me to the next part of this. So I'm going to shrink that and we're going to go, let me pull this down here. We're going to get rid of that and we're going to go to Home My Laverne. So in this portal, you're going to go under quick links to My Laverne. I'm going to click on that. And then I like to call this the yellow box screen because it helps trigger your memory. Student services and financial aids there and also down here. Doesn't matter which one you click on, long as you click it. And then here, lots of different things for you to look at, very important. But the one we need for today is registration. And then we're in the registration screen. So the first one in the registration screen that you need to go to is register, add, drop, withdraw classes. So we're going to click on that. And it might ask you for your information, your emergency information update. That's fine, do that. But then when it's done, it's going to talk to you here and ask you to pick a term. So the term that you're going to pick is January, spring 2021. So before I go any farther and I tell you what we're going to do with this screen, I want to talk to you about Jan term because I know that's really different and a lot of people are curious about that. So first thing to know is it's optional. If you don't want to come during Jan term, don't come. 100% okay to do that. You have to come in the spring, but for Jan term, if you need that time off, either to work more hours or because you need a mental health break, you do what you need to do. But if you do decide you want to take it, know a couple of things. First thing is, it's kind of like a gift from Laverne because there's no extra tuition fee for it as long as you come in the spring. Your spring tuition is what covers for the January term. So that's one thing to know. Second thing to know is it's quick. It's 4 weeks. So it's 16 weeks material in 4 weeks. So be careful what you take. Don't overload yourself. You can only take up to 5 semester hours. But I wouldn't take it in like the most difficult topic ever unless you really like to be able to focus that way. Your own judgment on that is what's going to work the best. So then what you'll do is you'll go to class. Usually it's every day, it's lots of hours, you'll do all that. But at the end of January, you'll have however many credits you took, maybe four more semester hours toward graduation. Pretty cool. And then you'll have like one weekend and boom, you're right in for spring. So That's something for you to think about. Is that right for you? Is this something that you'd want to do this semester? 100% up to you. It doesn't matter to anybody either way. The only one it's going to matter to is you. So then what you'll do is going back over here, you select the term January, spring 2021. Even if you don't want Jan term, you still pick that and you submit. It won't work on this one that I'm using right now, but when you submit it, if it'll go, I'm sorry, I lost my train of thought. If once you do that, the next screen will ask you for your advisor code. That's the code that I emailed you. So you'll use your ACC code, put it in, and once you put it in, the next thing it'll show is your exact time and date to register. And so that's really cool because then you'll know exactly when you're supposed to register. Now, on the day of registration, let me show you this. So on the day of registration, what's going to happen is you're going to get it. The screen will open like this, and down here at the bottom, add classes worksheet CRNs. So you're gonna have already looked up your classes. You're gonna have already put together like 3 schedules so that if plan A doesn't work, you can go to plan B. And then you're gonna take the CRNs and you're gonna put them 1 per box. So let's say you want a Jan term, you'd put that one in a box. And then your spring courses, you'd put a CRN number in each box for however many courses you are trying to get. And then when you hit submit changes, hopefully your schedule will come up and you'll have gotten everything without any error codes. That would be the hope. And I'll show you some tricks to kind of, ensure yourself a little bit more before you get to that point. The cool thing though is the CRN number tells the computer everything it needs to know, whether it's a Jan term or a spring class, who's teaching it, how many students, is it full, are there seats, everything. So all you need to do is worry about putting the CRN numbers in and hitting submit changes, and your job hopefully is done. If not, have other choices so that you can, try to get in another class. So another thing, you'll notice that it says view holds. So when you're going through all your screens, getting ready for registration, you want to make sure you view your holds, because if you have any holds, you want to take care of them before the day of registration. Some possible holds would be if you get a hold for promissory note. A promissory note is something that your parents or guardians would have signed. But then if you turned 18, since you originally, had all that done, usually after graduation, from high school, then you will also have to sign a promissory note, and it'll be a hold on your account until you do. And so, there may be other holds. You may have to get a hold of student accounts or registration. And when it says for your information, click here for your hold, like click there to see what it says. And then use the ULV, use the LV, what is it? This website that I showed you a few minutes ago, the main website, welcome to the University of Laverne, laverne.edu, and use that search engine in order to look up how do I get a hold of student accounts? How do I get a hold of financial aid? All of that kind of stuff. So that's how you're going to do that. So back to this registration screen. Now we understand, I think, the add, drop, withdraw screen better. So what we're going to do is we're going to go back to Home My Laverne. We're going to go back to My Laverne, the yellow box screen, student services and financial aid, registration. And this time, first of all, I want to show you something that's a helpful hint. Once you put that ACC code in, right? Oh, I say that wrong. I'm sorry. It's AAC, Advisor Approval Code. Once you put that in, then it stores it for you in this, the Advisor Approval Code. So when you click on it, you can then copy and paste it into the Add, Drop, Withdraw screen. It changes every semester, so there's no reason to actually memorize it, but nonetheless, you can, at least it holds it there for you. So you don't have to search for paper every time. All right, then what we're going to do this time though is we're going to look up classes to add, because now you have your degree audit. You understand the areas of the gen eds that you need to get, SOCH 250 if you can, and you want to find out what's available and can you get in it. So January, spring 2021, we're going to hit submit. And then this screen, absolutely important, because you want to use advanced search, advanced search, advanced search. Really, really important that you remember to use advanced search. So advanced search, and the reason for that is campus main. Weed out those classes that are not part of main campus, or it just will get confusing. All right, now we know RCS 111 is one of the classes that you need to take. If you can't remember what RCS means, go to the live degree audit, click on LVWB for Laverne Writing B, And you'll see RCS 111 means Rhetoric Communication Studies. So then in the subject, you'll go to Rhetoric Communication Studies. Here we are. Then you'll come down here and you'll hit section search. And when you do, all the rhetoric communication studies will come up. So there'll be RCS 100, which is public speaking, then 110, which you've already taken, and then 111, which is what you need. And then you can look through that and be able to register. So it's pretty straightforward. When it's a little trickier is something like the sciences, the humanities, the social sciences. And to do that, what you'll do is you'll start at the top of the box, click on it, scroll all the way down to the bottom, highlight absolutely everything. Even if there's stuff in there you don't want to take, doesn't matter, highlight it out. We have main campus, so that part's good. Then the attribute type. The attribute that I'm going to go with is LVLS for Laverne Life Science. And then we're going to section search. We're going to see all the possibilities that you could take for Laverne Life Science. Let me just move this out of the way again. Okay, so for Laverne Life Science, we have a lot of choices. Bio 101, look at there's tons of them. So now to narrow it out. First thing we need to know is, do you want to come during Jan term or spring term? So if you want a Jan term, then 2-1 to 5:30, that's spring. So we're going to keep scrolling, scrolling, scrolling. And then here we go. Here's Jan terms, 1-4 to 129. So if you wanted bio in Jan term, then you'd start working in this area here where there's bio classes. And I'm going to, however, go back up here and I'm going to look at spring classes. So, because I've decided, I don't know if I want to do that. So I'm going to go with spring. So right here, I'm going to go with the second one. The first one's a lab. The second one, it doesn't say lab. So that's a class. The third one's a lab. The fourth one's a lab. So I'm just going to go with the second one here. And let's see. So it's spring term and it's Bio 101. And the other thing I want to know is, when is it? So TR, remember that means Tuesday and Thursday because R means Thursday. So we're going to go here to the time and on my schedule, right? So I'm going to have Monday through Friday. I'm going to have it all marked and I'm going to start putting down a schedule. So I'm going to write down Bio 101, 10:20 to 11:55, Tuesday, Thursday. There it is. If that's all I do, then I've just caused myself a problem because remember, you register with CRNs. So I better write down the CRN number, which is 1002. So I'm writing down 1002, 10:20 to 11:55, and I'm going to mark off Tuesday and Thursday on my schedule that I'm making for myself. Okay, cool. Are there any seats? Oh, there are. Okay, so there's 20 allowed, only 3 people registered so far. That's good news. Remaining seats 17. Sophomores haven't registered yet, so I better check this again the day before it's my turn to register and maybe even the morning of to make sure that there's still a lot of seats because there's 2 or 3 seats. Chances are I won't get in. Okay, so wait a second. This is a class. I wonder if there's a lab. How do we find out? Click on the CRN number because remember that tells the computer everything and you too. And here it is. Here's the class. And then underneath it, here's the lab. So Bio 101 lab, CRN 1008. Okay, cool. All right, now I know that I have to sign up for 1002 for the class, 1008 for the lab. So I'm going to return to previous. And now I'm going to look, 1002 is the class. Oh, good, it's this one right under it. But notice you can't take that for granted because there's a lab here and there's all these other labs. And so anyway, this is it. And you'll notice it says 0 because it's, even though it's a separate time, it's still counted as part of the class. And that's a good thing because if your lab had a credit hour to it, it means that the lab would be even more challenging than it already is. So we'll just go with it. So now we know that when I sign up, I have to sign up for 1002. That's the class Tuesday, Thursday, 10:20 to 11:55. I also have to sign up for 1008. That's the lab for Bio 101. It's only on Tuesday and it's 12:20 to 2:10. And they're both spring terms. So good. Now I know that when on the day of registration, because there's still seats and I'm going to check it the night before, I can go to the add drop withdraw screen. I can go down here and I can put 1002. 1008. That's my bio class and my bio lab. They're both spring semester. Okay, cool. So far I have 4 credits. Now I need to figure out what else I want to take to get up to my 16. And do I want a Jan term? Then I'd add that in too. So that's the idea of how you can look at your degree audit to know what gen ed you need, SOC 250, RCS 111, and then what you want to do, look at the classes. Put at least 3 schedules together so that you have backup. Check the seating day before, morning of, before you try to register so that you don't get aggravated and lose time. You just want to look and make sure there's still available seats. And then on the day and time of registration, go to that add drop withdraw screen, put your AAC code in it, put in your numbers, your CRN numbers that you have because you've made three or four, well, two or three different schedules, submit changes, and hopefully you have it. If you don't, I've also emailed you um, a troubleshooting for registration. Look it over, get familiar with it. If you get a error code and it says to know what this means, click here, click here. Look at your troubleshooting sheet and see why you didn't get it. Sometimes it's like, oh my goodness, I forgot to do whatever it is, and then you can fix it so that you can keep moving. Because by the time I can check everybody's emails, we could miss out on a class. So you want to be as prepared and ready as you possibly can. So I wish you all the best, and I hope I see you at one of the workshops. If you have any questions, take care and have a good day. Bye.